Ivy and Ben break the fossil record. Dracosaurus. I think we better stop now. We got to start putting them together. Ivy said. Okay, Ben's arms were tied anyway. We can always dig up more later. There seemed to be no end to the bones in the ground. They had found 4 more since they had begun. The bone pile was getting high. The guards stared at it. Said Ivy. Said Ben. They never talk about this part in books, said Ivy. We should lay them and see what fits. That's how you do puzzles. Sure, okay, said Ben. There's some clean grass over there. Laying out of the grass, the 21 bones didn't look much like a dinosaur. It didn't look much like anything. Maybe it's just one part of a dinosaur, said Ben. Or maybe it's a small dinosaur, said Ivy. Remember, the small ones were more common. Right. Ivy picked up the round piece that Ben had found the day before. Let's start with this. It's a piece of skull. She put it down on the ground, apart from the other bones. So now we have to find the neck. Ben picked up the long, thick bone. I bet this is the neck. Ivy held her head to one side as she looked at it. I think you're right. This was fun. Oh, the neck bones connected to the shoulder bones, said Ben. Ivy put down a small bone that was almost the shape of a shoulder, and the shoulder bones connected to the arm bone. That is it. Ivy put down a narrow bone, and the arm bone connected to the hand bone. They didn't have hands, Ivy giggled. How about the backbone? Okay, the backbone. Ivy put down the first bone they had found. It flared out at the one. And the hip, right, said Ivy. Right, said Ben. Then she said, the hip bones connected to the leg bone. Piece by piece, they made a dinosaur. It was a small dinosaur. And some parts of it were missing, but they would probably find those the next time they dug. When they had it all arranged, they stood back and looked at it. Pretty good, said Ivy. Don't you think we should stick it together? Yeah, I think that they do it with wires in museums. Do you have any wire? Wire? I don't think so, said Ben. Ivy thought for a minute. Just for now, we can use a tape. We can take it off when we get some wire. Tape, you got it. Ben ran inside. It's almost 3:30, she said when she came out. In betweens were hard. She was only positive when it was exactly an o'clock. This won't take long, Ivy said, pulling out a long piece of tape. She wrapped it around the skull and connected the other end to the neck bone. She had to wrap it 4 times before it stuck. Bean began to work on the foot. It only had one foot. They were working so hard that they didn't see Nancy until she was standing right next to them. Is that the disgusting, she said, staring at their dinosaur being jumped. For some reason, she didn't want Nancy to know about the dinosaur. Go away, she said. What is that? Nancy asked. Bean never had answered it a million years, but Ivy didn't know about sisters. It's a dinosaur, she said. It's a a thirst, I think. A dinosaur? Nancy began to laugh a high-pitched voice. You think that's a dinosaur? Back off, potato face, yelled Bean. She was getting a bad feeling. It's a Tyrannosaurus, squealed Nancy. She held her stomach like it hurt from laughing. Bean glared at her. You guys are total losers. A dog buried those. The people who lived here before us had a dog. Look, she pointed at the neck bone. It's a stick bone. Get out of there, shouted Bean. She looked around wildly for something to throw at her. Don't worry, I'm leaving, said Nancy, smiling. Well, till I tell Dad. He's going to be mad that you dug off the yard. She stood on the back porch and made an L for a loser sign with her finger and thumb. Shut up, screamed Bean. She looked over at Ivy. Ivy was just sitting in the dirt. Bean stared at the dinosaur. Dog bones? Is that why they were so easy to find? Bean felt happy all of a sudden. She wasn't the youngest paleontologist in the world anymore. Mary Anning still had the record, and Bean had nothing. Maybe she's wrong, said Ivy finally. Maybe, said Bean. Somehow she didn't feel very hopeful. The back door opened. Bean looked up, ready to shout at Nancy. But it wasn't Nancy, it was her dad. He came down the stairs slowly, looking at the hole and the dirt pile at the bones. Then he looked at Bean and Ivy, sitting quietly on the ground. Are you mad about the hole? Bean asked. No, the holes are fine, he said. He squatted down next to her and looked at the dinosaur they had taped together. Nancy says they're dinosaur bones, said Bean. He nodded. They are they? asked Bean. I don't know. He said they might be. They could be dinosaur bones. Could they be dinosaur bones? asked Ivy. I don't think so, he said slowly. I'm pretty sure that if there were dinosaur bones here, they'd be buried deeper in the ground. I see that you worked really hard to. Yeah, said Bean. She felt like crying. There was a knock on the backyard gate. Who's that? asked Bean. That everybody, said Ivy glumly.